going on? We are back, black in the building, man. A little later, had some shit to do. Still got shit to do. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation. If you're there, if you're doing what you need to do to survive, hey man, much power and respect to you. It's all about handling the business that you need to handle, staying in your lane, figuring out what you need to figure out. I appreciate everybody out there just staying in their lane, trying to support a black business, start a black business. You know what I'm saying? My next step, I gotta get my LLC game popping and do all that shit. And shout out to everybody out there that is on that same path. Shout out to Nuke. Shout out to Roxanne as well. Shout out to Mariah, my cousin Tasha, my sister. Everybody out there, man. Shawnee, feeling the good to stand up. Erica, you already know what it is. You know what it ain't, man. We about to get into it, man. We about to get into something real special. We about to talk about Meghan Markle. She did this interview with Mariah Carey. And basically she was talking about how when she dated or when she was dating what's his name, the royal family motherfucker, I guess it became a problem. And my thing is, that means you weren't socialized the right way. Somebody should have already told you, oh well, you're black. So we're gonna get into that, man. We're gonna talk about the importance of that. Because if we don't know who we are, other racial groups will infiltrate our movements like reparations. That's why you have the Latinos and all the other races. First is the Latinos. Y'all notice they coming real strong about trying to be in alignment with our movement and attaching themselves to our culture. So when it's time for reparations, oh, I black too, I'm Afro-Latino. That bullshit. So we're going to get into that right now. Let's hear it. Shit, fuck all that. Yeah, man. I was reading this article about Meghan Markle. She was like, here, I'm going to paraphrase it. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, returned in the second episode of her Archetypes podcast this week. This time featuring a conversation with Mariah Carey. The two women discussed their biracial identities. There goes, that's a broad and ambiguous term as well. Biracial, no, just say black. Or just say mulatto. But anyway, Carey opened up to Meghan about moving often as a young girl and feeling caught between the black and white sides of town. I didn't fit in anywhere at all, Carey said. Meghan referenced an interview she had read in which actress Halle Berry had noted that because she was darker in color, she was treated as a black woman, not as a biracial woman. Okay, let's stop right there. Halle Berry, that's mammy talk right there. You're sounding bed wenches. That's that bed wench mammy talk right there. What do you mean you were being treated like a black woman and not a biracial? What the hell does that fucking mean? See, y'all gonna need to look at this shit and pay attention to the wordplay and the trick game that's involved. The hell you mean you was being treated like? Now what kind of shit is that? See, and this is exactly why when you are procreating with any other racial group and you are a foundational black American and you have melanin, I'm talking about for United States of America Incorporated, you have melanin in your skin, you procreate with anybody else, it is your job and your duty, both parents, to teach the kid, hey, you black, and you're gonna get treated as such, and this is the way it is. A lot of white kids ain't gonna like you, a lot of black kids ain't gonna like you, but you black. I don't care what you say, you black. You're not gonna be a sellout to your people, you're not gonna be a sellout to your culture, and you ain't gonna be no Sammy, no Sambo, no mammy, no coon, none of that stuff. So what the hell does that mean? You know, Halle Berry had noted that because she was darker in color, she was treated as a black woman, not as a biracial woman. What the fuck? That's mammy talk. That's bedwench talk. That's why Halle Berry is paying child support to two white motherfuckers, because you're a bedwench. And then all the brothers she dated, they had all these fucking problems. They didn't have no fucking problems. I love it. See, that's what Halle Berry get. The bitch has priced her pussy out the game. You thought, well, I can do better, so I ain't gonna fuck with these niggas. And all these niggas got problems and I don't. And then you get with these two white men and they calling you nigga bitches and shit, and then they put you on child support. That's what you get, bitch. So I don't feel sorry for you. And what type of, and somebody should, and this is what I mean about education. Somebody needs to educate these people. Hey man, what the hell you mean when you getting treated? What's the difference between biracial and black? Black is black. You better go look at I forgot the name of that book that I read. Oh God, it's a big thick book. I gotta look for the book. But it was like talking about all the slave laws, and it doesn't matter if you was mulatto, you was still classified as a nigga, so it didn't even fucking matter. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother No Compromise too, David, man. You know, hey, we gotta get the spaces cracking. And I think for us, it's very different because we're light-skinned. Megan said, you're not treated as a black woman. You're not treated as a white woman. You're sort of fit in between. Megan told Carrie that she only really began being treated like a black woman when she started dating Prince Harry. Yeah, bitch, because you a nigga. Because your parents and the way you were socialized has failed you. See, they got you thinking like, oh, you a red bone, so you identify as white. So that's no, that's not how it go. White people will determine that, and they gonna determine, well, you a nigga, bitch. So we're just gonna treat you as such. I always thought it should be okay to say I'm mixed, Carrie said, like it should be okay to say that. But people want you to choose. Of course. The hell you think is going on? Now let's talk about this real quick. Let's get into it. First of all, why would you say that's basically like, take your hands off me. You're not treated, I'm not a nigger. I'm half nigger. Like, what the fuck does that mean? This is why other racial groups come amongst us, learn our culture, learn a little bit of our history, and then all of a sudden they start taking claim to shit we invented. Next, you gonna start hearing Latinos talking about, well, we invented the cotton gin. Watch. Then you gonna hear motherfuckers talking about, well, we built the railroads. Watch. The prison and pipeline was for Afro-Latinos, not just that bullshit, man. Stop. That's why you cannot be around people for long. I'm talking about especially these mixed races. When they start saying shit out of pocket, you gotta check that shit. Look, man, please don't come around me talking that bullshit and refer them to Black Labor, White Wealth, refer them to Slavery by Another Name, refer to all these books and history, documented history. All this mulatto mammy talk and bedwench talk, stop it, man. Because what you're doing is you're allowing your dog whistling to other racial groups so they can say, see, look, black people, you might as well claim white because black people don't even treat. Nah, man, black folk just know. It's documented history that a lot of the mulatto class was playing both sides of the fence to get what they wanted. And they weren't sticking with their people, and they weren't sticking with white folk either. They're just doing what the fuck they wanted to do. And you have to draw a line in the sand, and you have to establish your own boundaries. And a lot of that is because people don't read, they don't educate themselves. You know what I'm saying? I was having this talk with this sister, man, and some of the things that she was saying to me, at the court plantation, some of the things she was saying, I was laughing because I was like, that shit don't surprise me. She's like, damn, I was pissed. I was like, yep, you're supposed to, but that shit don't surprise me because a lot of, let's just use the Latino racial group. For a long time, Latinos did not want to attach themselves to black culture. They didn't want to be associated as black. They didn't want to have no association to our culture, being black, none of that. Mexican pride, Chicano pride, all this other shit. Now, all of a sudden, to me, it's like, we're going to co-opt this movement and claim it as our own. This is why we have to start stopping people in their tracks from running their mouth and saying things out of pocket and out of turn. And I'm going to keep speaking on this. Fat Joe was very much disrespectful to the point where it's not even laughable and it's not even funny because it's like, now good damn well Latinos don't deserve no motherfucking 50% of no damn creation of the black culture or hip hop. Stop. To me, it's almost like people like Fat Joe, they just want to claim anything but foundational black American. That's what it seems like to me. That's why you partner up with Busta Rhymes. I like Busta Rhymes. I like his music, but I don't like your music that much where you finna be lying and just saying whatever you want to say, because that's not what's gonna happen. Now, I don't care if you God body or not. We're in the knowledge of being God body, being a 5%er, the 5% nation. We're talking about Jamaicans created hip hop. Nah, nigga, stop. We just need to wake up and we got to understand exactly where our position is. The reason why I say that is because a lot of times I'll be seeing shit, man. I just be like, damn. When I read that article, look at the sister that played that dude. Played against BYU. Hey, man, I know some people that, went to BYU or are part of that religious group, and they may not appear to be, anti-black or have racist views or whatever. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is everybody acting shocked like this is not what takes place in other religious groups and other racial groups. When Russell Westbrook played in Utah, one of the fans called him a nigga, and they banned that fan for life. I remember Dennis Rodman saying, like, I don't want to go up there. Basically, he was like, I don't want to go play up there. You know what I mean? And it's so funny because they will classify black folk as all one group. So when we commit a crime, it's reflective on every foundational black American. But when you start calling out other religious, racial groups, then motherfuckers start looking at you upside your head. Like, for Duke to go play BYU, right? And you got a black sister on the Duke team, and they calling her niggas and shit, and every time she served, and ain't nobody, they should have expelled that fucking student. You're expelled. You can no longer go here. But so if that's happening at the school level at BYU, you tell me what's happening in corporate America, because that's a part of corporate America too. So you mean to tell me it just stops at college level, and then once you graduate college, you have purged yourself of racist tendencies? Stop. So if a kid can say that, then imagine what his parents are saying. Imagine what her parents are saying and what they're teaching. We have to wake up and understand. Take the culture back. Take our history back. Learn your history. Learn a little bit of it. You don't have to learn a lot, but learn enough so you can navigate through this system and you can start calling fouls when fouls are needed to be called, especially in your own racial group. When you see people saying stuff like, when I had these conversations, I have them a lot. And one of the main conversations I have is when you talk about reparations and people start throwing out those elusive terms like, oh, well, yeah, because, of course, African Americans, they need health care. No. Just give us the money. Stop trying to choose what we get for reparations. Vlad TV, he the main one. He, as long as he's appropriating the culture, he don't have no problem. My thing is always this: why don't you appropriate the white Jewish community? I don't ever see you doing no blogs or doing anything on the white Jewish community, but I see you always having some shit to say about black folk. And black folk need to stop going on his platform and hold his feet to the fire. I did watch Joe Budden's podcast. He was calling that dude Adam 22 or whatever the fuck he called his ass out. Said, bro, I'm gonna have to call bullshit on you profiting off of Kevin Samuels passing away, man. You shouldn't do that. And he did it the right way. He didn't get, emotional. He just called it out. And we don't want to do that because we feel like we're gonna lose friends or whatever. I don't go around to people that I know and I'm cool with picking racial fights and debates with people. I don't have time for that. But if the subject comes up and we're discussing a particular subject matter about racism and white supremacy, I'm not going to sit up here and go all day trying to convince you. I'm going to refer you to some books and say, hey, man, if you really want to learn, you'll read these books on your own. I don't have time to teach you because I don't get paid to do that. Those are things that we, in my personal opinion, I just think we need to do a better job of. Stop trying to educate the dominant society. They know what it is. And if they don't know, that's on them. That's not your job to educate them. It's your job to educate foundational black Americans. That's why I say, I'll keep saying that. When you deal with I always have this conversation too. When you deal with all these other racial groups that are immigrants, the first thing they do is they classify what their racial group is. They don't say black. I'm Nigerian. I'm Haitian. I'm Dominican. I'm Puerto Rican. They don't say I'm black. They don't say that. If they start saying that they was black, it would be a different story. Because then you're not separating the two. But once black folks start saying, well, I'm a foundational black American. I was even watching this interview with, I think it's a podcast, his name is Star. And he was basically like, no. He was checking somebody like, no, yeah, you might have the same, grievances and issues of black people, but there's a distinction between black people and foundational black Americans. And they built the country, boo, and that's what we have to start educating people. And these other racial groups know, the dominant society knows. That's why they throwing anything that sticks. They know. They want these other racial groups to push a different agenda and muddy the waters. And now all of a sudden it's Afro-Latina and all this other bullshit. And it's like, okay, well, where the fuck was y'all motherfuckers at 20 years ago? Because 20 years ago, I met Puerto Ricans, I met Dominicans, I met other racial groups, Haitians, Jamaicans. They didn't identify as Haitian identify as black. They identified as Jamaican. They identified as Haitian. So when black folks start identifying as foundational black Americans and talking about, well, you're immigrant and you're here for unearned benefits, now motherfucker want to get mad and be like, oh, that's racist. No, it's not. You wouldn't allow me to go in your house and sit down and start eating? No, you wouldn't allow me to do that. You'll be like, what the fuck? I don't even know you. Okay, then. So if you don't know me and I don't know you, you don't have a right to tell me that, you know, I'm being racist. First of all, black folk can't be racist. We already established that. Go read Black Larry White Wealth. Second, we need to understand these people are trying to muddy the waters and liken their struggle to ours. And if you notice why this is all taking place, the alphabet community, the LGBTQ, they back. You don't even really hear from them. Not in those terms, not in that context, because now the waters are being muddied by other racial groups. Oh, I'm Afro-Latina. I'm Cuban. I'm Cuban Afro-Latina. That's bullshit. Wake up, understand what the fuck is going on, and know that anytime somebody is speaking up on foundational black Americans' behalf, they'll speak up until it comes to cutting a check. Once it's time to cut a check, you don't hear from these people no more. Because in my personal opinion, I don't think the dominant society wants us to have money where we don't have to go to no corporate plantation and deal with them anymore. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like a lot of dominant society people wake up to tell niggas what to do. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me. That's just my personal opinion. But hey, man, that's it. That's my time. Y'all already know what it is. You know what it ain't. Hey, love the life. Stay in your lane. Read research. Go check out that Meghan Markle thing talking about, oh, once she dated Harry, that, well, bitch, you should have known that already. That was your parents' fault. Your dad and your mom not raised you to let you know and socializing you to know, hey, man, you are a black woman. You're just light-skinned, but you're a black woman. No, they didn't socialize you that way. So then when you get around the royal family, they like, who is this nigga bitch in here? And they probably was telling him, and I hope you don't plan on having no babies with this nigga bitch. No, it's plenty of white bitches that have a baby with you. You don't need to be bothered with this nigga bitch. We ain't trying to make the royal palace. we ain't trying to make the royal palace Crenshaw Boulevard. That's what they thinking. Like, man, we don't give a fuck about none of that shit. But anyway, man, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it ain't. If you're dealing with people that ain't handling business and ain't focused, get away from them. People that know that you're handling business, they either gonna congratulate you or they gonna stay the fuck away or they gonna come around acting like they happy for you but being nosy. Guard your circle and keep your shit tight. You know what it is, you know what to do. Make sure your shit is right. You already know my saying. Guilty, nigga. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.